Okay, so next topic is security market indices. So it is a comparatively smaller reading and very basic. Again, just an introduction to security market indices, that what are those or how are they made, how are they rebalanced. So first of all, let's understand what is an index. So index is a group of securities, or you can say it is an artificial portfolio. So for example, if let's say you have three or five stocks or five assets A, B, C, D and E. Now you want to see that how are they performing. So one of the ways to do it is that you can look at A individually, B individually, C individually, D and E individually. Or a better way would be that you can find out that if I make a portfolio of these assets, then how will that portfolio perform? Will that portfolio be going up, going down? How much? 10%, 20%, 5% or whatever. So if you make a portfolio of these securities and do not actually make a portfolio, do not make an actual portfolio, but just make a hypothetical portfolio or artificial portfolio and find out how will it perform or how is it performing, that is known as an index. So in index, you make a group of assets and track their performance, but you are not actually buying or selling the asset. So this is not actual fund, this is not actual portfolio, this is a portfolio just to track the performance. So this is known as an index. Now when you are making an index, you need, what do you need to know? You need to know what are the assets within or securities within this index. So obviously if this is an index, it will have some securities, and it is like a portfolio, so it will have some securities in it. So these securities which an index has are known as constituents. Index constituents. Index constituents are securities which an index hold. Let's say there are three securities A, B and C. So two key points are that you need to know what are the securities in index A, B and C. And then second point to note is that what are the weights of these securities. Why? Because performance of index or this portfolio will depend on weight. So what is the weight of A, what is the weight of B, what is the weight of C. So if A, let's say A has a 50% weight, B has a 30% and C 20%. So that means if A goes up, that will have more impact on the index performance comparatively compared to C or B. And if A goes down, that will have a more impact on index performance compared to B or C. Why? Because A has the highest weight. So that means two key things to or key factors to note or know are that what are the consequence and what are the weights of these consequence. Any problem so far? Yeah, exactly. So now this is the index, that is the, and these are the constituents of index. Once you have an index, why have you made the index? You have made the index to track return. So you can track return in multiple ways. So index can be made in multiple ways, or to track return in multiple ways. So there can be an index which tracks only price returns. Means if the price is going up or price is going down. This is known as price return index. There can be an index which tracks total return. When we say total return, it means price as well as dividends. So that is known as total return index. So an index can be a price return index, and index can be a total return index. It depends on the use of those in that index, that what actually user wants to know about the investment. Now moving on, the question is that how do you actually make the index? So remember the stages or steps. First or very basic stages that you find out which target market should the index represent. Are you making it for Karachi Stock Exchange? Do you want to track S&P? Do you want to track US stock market? Do you want to track technology sector, banking sector, or do you want to track consumer sector, or do you want to track growth stock, or do you want to track value stock? What do you actually want to track? So what is your actually target market that index will represent? That is first question to answer. Remember this. This is very important. Second, now once you have decided, for example, I have decided that I want to make an index to track US stock market. Now second question is which securities should be selected. So which securities should I select? Now let's say I have selected 100 securities. I have identified 100 securities. Now the next question is that how much weight should be given to each of these securities? Should equal weight be given? Should some securities have higher weight? Should other have lower weight, or how? And what weight? So security selection and then weight. And then next is when should the index be rebalanced? So for example, let's say I made an index in which I have 3 securities A, B and C. A has a weight of 50%. I decided that I will keep 50% weight for A. I will keep 30% for B and 20% for C. Now over time, let's say A's value goes up or price of A went up and price of B went down. So if A's price goes up, its weight will automatically increase in the index, and if B's price go down, its weight will automatically decrease in the index. So that means there will be a rebalancing required. So when you make an index, you also determine that when should the index be rebalanced. Should it be rebalanced weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, or how? Now next is, so this is only rebalancing. What is rebalancing? In rebalancing, you are just adjusting weight, increasing weight or decreasing weight. Over time, you may feel that maybe A needs to be removed and X needs to be included. So maybe securities need to be changed as well. So when should the security selection and weighing decisions be re-examined? So that should also be decided when making an index. Maybe you can say that I will check it every month, every quarter, semi-annually, annually, or whatever. So these are the 5 steps to make an index. Remember these five steps and their sequence. This is very important. First, so index मार्केट में होते हैं आपके पास बने हुए, जो डिफरेंट एजेंसीज ने, कंपनीज ने बनाए हुए होते हैं, और आप अपना भी बना सकते हैं. सो यू कैन मेक एन इंडेक्स ऑफ योरसेल्फ एज वेल. हाँ हाँ, उस पर अभी हम वो डिस्कस करेंगे. So you start, you first find out target, then you find out securities, then you find out weights, then you decide the rebalancing frequency, and then you decide the security selection and weighing decision frequency. This is how you make an index. Now moving on, the question is that how do you decide weighting? How do you allocate weights? How do you allocate weights to different securities? So remember, with respect to weights, an index can either be price weighted, equal weighted, market cap weighted, or fundamentally weighted. So what is price weighted? So let's say again I have 3 securities A, B and C, or for simplicity let's say only A and B. A has a price of $100, B has a price of $50. So I can say that I will allocate weight with respect to price. So A's weight in the index will be 100 divided by 150 and B's weight will be 50 divided by 150. So A will have approximately 67% weight and B will have approximately 33% weight. This is known as price weighted index. That is, you are using price to weight the index. What is the benefit? The benefit is that you will not need to rebalance it frequently. Why wouldn't you need to rebalance? Because when its price goes up, its weight will go up and required weight will also go up, because you are providing weights on price. So if price goes up, weight automatically goes up. So you do not need to rebalance. If price goes down, weight automatically goes down. This is price weighted. What is the disadvantage or what is the problem? A problem can be that maybe a security has a high price. Maybe a security has a high price, but maybe it is still a very smaller company. Why? Maybe because number of shares is very low. So market cap overall is low. So you are overweighting it on the in your index, but it shouldn't actually be overweighted. That can be a problem, or there can be any other problems like liquidity problem or whatsoever. Secondly, maybe you are giving a higher weight to those which have high prices, and maybe this is leading to ignoring those which have lower prices. So maybe there is a stock C which is a dominant, which is a prominent player in the market, and it has only $10 of worth of share. So maybe you are ignoring it. Why? Because you are going for price weights. So that is price weighted index. Or what you can do is you can have an equally weighted index. Equally weighted is, for example, you decide A and B both will have 50% weight. What is the advantage? Advantage is that each stock is getting a representation, and it is simple. You know what is how do you allocate weights? You just allocate weight equally. But what is the problem? Problem is that you will need to rebalance it again and again. Frequency of rebalancing will be very high. Why? Because as price changes, weights will change, and in order to bring them again to equal weights, you will have to buy something and sell something. So transaction cost will be high. Rebalancing, frequent rebalancing will be required. Secondly, when you are including all these stocks or providing equal weight to all of them, maybe there is a stock which is very small or very illiquid, but it is still getting the same representation in the index as a large stock or a big company which is very liquid. So both of these will have the same representation. Maybe there is a stock which is very thinly traded, there is another stock which is heavily traded. Both will have equal representation, which is not the right case. So that is equally weighted. Another way is that, for example, you take the market cap. So let's say A and B. A has a market cap of $100 million. B has a market cap of $50 million. So you can, if you allocate weights with respect to market cap, 100 million divided by 150, 50 divided by 150. This is known as market cap weight. What is the advantage? Advantage is similar as price weighted index. That is, if price goes up, automatically market cap will go up, and as market cap will go up, automatically weight will go up, and if it goes down, automatically market cap will go down. There was a disadvantage in pricing, and the disadvantage was that maybe price of a security is higher, but maybe its size is lower. That wouldn't be case in the market cap because you are using the price into shares. So that is also solved. That is also an advantage. What is the disadvantage? The disadvantage is that again maybe you end up providing overweight or overweighting large companies, and maybe you end up ignoring the smaller segments of the industry or the market. So that can be a disadvantage. But generally, market cap is generally used to weight the index, or it is the most appropriate one. Within market cap, there is another type which is assumed to be even better, or which is assumed to be the best way to weight an index. That is float adjusted market cap. So when we say market cap means total market value of the equity. But from that total market value or total number of shares, maybe a smaller portion is being traded in the market, or maybe the portion which is floating in the market is smaller. So if you adjust for it, that is, if you only take that portion which is floating in the market, that index will be known as float adjusted market cap index or market weighted index. So generally among all, this is assumed to be the better way of providing weights to index. That is price equal market cap, float adjusted, and fundamental. So last one is fundamental. So for example, you can say that I will make an index of the companies with the similar profitability. So you are, or with respect to their sales, or with respect to their growth. I will allocate weight with respect to their sales, or their profits, or their growth. So now that is known as fundamental weighted. Why? Because you are using a fundamental. This is known as fundamental. These are known as fundamentals of the company. So if you use a fundamental, That is, let's say, a profit, sale, margin, or anything like that. And based on that, you allocate weights. That is known as fundamentally weighted. What is the disadvantage? The disadvantage would be that maybe you end up selecting companies which are not actually liquid, or which are very thinly traded. Maybe there is a large company, but it is very thinly traded or not actively traded in the market or does not move. So these are the four key types, and within market cap there is another type which is float adjusted market cap. हाँ, क्या नहीं होगा, किस चीज का रिस्क? हाँ बिल्कुल होगा, हो सकता है. अगर फंडामेंटल्स मैनिपुलेटेड हैं तो वो भी मैनिपुलेटेड होगी आपकी वेट्स भी. And secondly, it is not the right reflection of the market. Why? Because maybe there is a large company which has huge profits or a very big size, and maybe its stock is very thinly traded, not traded in the very actively in the market. So this company wouldn't actually go up, its stock might not go up or go down very, or is not very volatile. So if it is dominating your index, then your index would actually remain be stable and wouldn't reflect the market movements. So that is the problem with the fundamental weights. Once you have provided weights, so you have securities, you have provided weights, then comes the decision for rebalancing. Rebalancing is adjusting weights. What is the advantage? Advantage is that if you rebalance more frequently, then your index will remain be more relevant and accurate. But the problem is, if frequency is higher, that is good. Why? Because your index will remain more relevant and more accurate. Weights will remain be accurate. But the problem is that if frequency is higher, transaction costs are also high. So if a fund is tracking your index, and if that fund now has to rebalance again and again, then it will have to actually enter transaction cost. That is rebalancing. And then reconstitution. Reconstitution is changing the constituents or their weights. That is security select changes or weight changes. So this is how index is formed or operated. So remember the difference between reconstitution and rebalancing. Rebalancing is just adjusting weights back to normal or back to the required. Reconstitution is changing the securities or changing the metrics of actually allocating weights. Rebalancing is most important for equally weighted indices. This we have discussed. Why? Because they will need to be rebalanced again and again. Price weighted are not rebalanced because automatically weight will increase when price increases. Rebalancing is less of a concern for market cap because similar to price weighted, market cap will also go up if price goes up. Only if number of shares is changing, then it will need to be rebalanced, otherwise not. Fundamental में rebalancing will be a concern again, because it will be a concern, but it would generally be a concern with respect to every quarter or every 6 month or annual. Why? Because financials are restated or financials are announced generally after every quarter or 6 months. So the frequency, there will need to be rebalancing, but rebalancing will be done after a specific period of time when all the companies have announced the financial. But generally fundamental weights are not generally used because that is not a right reflection of the market movement. Uses of market indices, how are they used? They can be used to gauge market sentiment. They can be used to proxies for measuring and modeling returns, systematic risk, risk adjusted performance. So for example, if I want to know the risk of the market, what can I do? I can look at the standard deviation of an index which tracks the market. So if I want to know the risk of Karachi Stock Exchange market, I can look at the standard deviation of KSE 100 index. So that's how it can help measure the systematic risk. Proxy for asset classes in asset allocation models. So there can be an index for commodities, there can be an index for stock, for fixed income. So it can be a proxy for or can help to determine the performance of the overall asset class, that how are commodities performing, how are fixed income, how is equity performing. Benchmark for actively managed portfolios. Model portfolios for products such as ETFs. So for example, if there is exchange traded fund, that exchange traded fund usually follows an index. So for example, SPY follows S&P 500 index. XLY follows consumer discretionary index. XLP follows consumer staples index. So the ETFs generally follow some index. So index can help make funds to track a particular industry, market, or whatever. So these are all uses. Remember these uses as well. This is important. Equity indices. So with respect to equity indices, again, there can be broad market indices. Broad market means which track the broader market. So for example, S&P 500 index, that tracks the broader US equity market. Or for example, Karachi stock KSE 100 index, that tracks the broader market or the overall equity market of Karachi. Or there can be multi-market index. So for example, emerging markets index. Emerging markets index would track the performance of all the emerging markets or multiple markets. There can be sector indices. So for example, consumer sector index, it will track the performance of consumer sector. There can be style indices. What is the style? So for example, there can be an index which track the performance of large cap stocks or value stock. There can be an index which tracks the performance of small cap stocks or growth stock. So index can be made with respect to any characteristic. So it can be to track an industry, to track a market, to track different countries, to track sector, to track a particular style of investment. Broad market index. Fixed income indices. So similarly, like you have equity indices, you can also have fixed income indices. Fixed income index is the one in which constituents are fixed income securities. But there are challenges to its construction. What are the challenges? Number of securities in fixed income universe is very large. So there are many fixed income securities in the world. So selection would be difficult. Lack of availability of pricing data. Securities are not as liquid as equity. Equity is the more liquid class. So these are the challenges to construction. Remember these challenges. Again, how do you make them, or what are the types? So you can make an index with respect to economic sector. So let's say fixed income securities of consumer sector. That can be an index. Or you can make an index which reflects the securities of a particular geographic region. So for example, PIB's index, that will tell you the performance of Pakistan bonds, or let's say Pakistan bonds index. Or there can be an index which tells you the uh, performance of a specific type of issuer. So for example, AAA bond index, it will tell you the performance of AAA bond issuers. Type of financing. So there can be an index which tracks the fixed income with respect to particular type of financing. So for example, bond, short-term instruments, notes. So there can be an index which tracks short-term instruments, there can be an index which track money market, there can be an index which track capital market, there can be an index which track corporate issues, there can be an index which track government issues. Currency of payment, there can be an index for US dollar bond, for PKR bond, for euro bond. Maturity, there can be an index for, let's say, 5-year maturity bond, 10-year maturity bond, 2-year. Credit quality, which we discussed earlier, like AAA, BBB, or high quality, low quality, medium quality. So fixed income indices can be formed using many or different characteristics. So types, there are many types of fixed income indices compared to equity, and there is a large number of fixed income securities because factors are so much, differentiating factors are so much. So there are so many types of fixed income securities, and so this is a challenge to make a fixed income index. And secondly, data is also not easily available. For equity securities, you can publicly find the equity prices of publicly listed securities. For fixed income securities, it is difficult to find the prices. Similarly, like equity and fixed income, you can also have indices for alternative investment like commodity, real estate, hedge fund. Commodity index tracks the commodities. How would index, what factors would impact the performance of index? Two key factors which will perform the uh, performance of index would be constituents. That is, what commodities have you included, gold, silver, oil, or whatever, and their weights. If there are two indices having different commodities or having different weights for those commodities, then their performance will be different. Another key point to notice, generally commodity indices do not track the actual commodities, but they track the futures. So generally commodity index would be tracking futures prices rather than futures markets rather than actual commodities or spot markets, because they are easily, the data is easily available and it is very much visible. It is hard to find out that what rate is the commodity being trading on in the spot market or actual transaction is being done in the market. So they generally track futures. So this is the reason why the return on commodity index can be a bit different from the actual return on holding the commodity, because they will be tracking futures and actual commodity return can be a bit different than holding real commodities. Real estate investment trust indices. So these are the indices for REITs, which is real estate investment trust. Real estate investment trust are companies or public are companies which invest into real estate. So if you form an index of them, that is REIT, and this will be a representative of the overall real estate market. Hedge fund indices which reflect the returns on hedge funds. Key point to notice that hedge fund indices can be might not reflect the actual performance of hedge fund due to some reason. And what are those reasons? It is because they have voluntary cooperation or voluntarily participation. What does it mean? This means that a hedge fund will become a part of index only if it itself wants to be a part of index, because it will only disclose information if it wants to be a part of index itself, and it will only want to be a part of index if it has a good performance. Otherwise it wouldn't want its performance to be tracked. So that means generally index would only include good performance, and so its return will be biased upward, risk will be biased downward. Also survivorship bias. So over time, those hedge funds which did not perform well will go out of the market or will might have to exit the market, and so only those would have survived which have been performing good or better. So index would include better performing hedge funds generally. That is survivorship bias. So generally its returns will be upward biased for hedge fund indices. Remember these key points again. This is important, that why are hedge fund indices not so useful? Due to all these reasons: voluntary participation and survivorship bias, and returns being biased upward. So this is it about security indices. Security market indices are constructed and managed like a portfolio of securities, correct? They are not actually, securities are not actually bought or sold, but it is just like a portfolio of securities. Simple interchangeable tools for measuring the returns of different asset classes valued on regular basis using actual market prices of the constituent securities. Not always, may not be actual, maybe futures or maybe others. So A is the correct answer. When creating a security market index, an index provider must first determine the, so first step is target market. So target market, then constituent securities, then their weights, then rebalancing policy, and then reconstitution policy. First is target market. Which of the following is not a real estate index category? So we will discuss this in alternative investment, but for now just remember that repeat sales index and appraisal index are real estate index categories. And this B is not a real estate index category. There are two types of real estate index: appraisal and repeat sales. Appraisal means that it will value real estate based on the property appraisals or based on the valuation in property appraisal. Repeat sales means it will find out, let's say first a property was sold for 100 and then it is sold for 110. So the increase is 10%. So index will go up by 10%. That is repeat sales index. Appraisals is which is based on the appraisals of property or valuation of properties. Initial sales index is, there is nothing like initial sales index. A unique feature of hedge fund indices is that they are frequently equally weighted, may or may not be, do not know, are determined by the constituents of the index. Constituents of the index themselves determine their inclusion. They themselves decide whether they want to be included or not. So B is the correct answer. So the index maker or constructor will not decide which hedge fund to be included. The hedge fund itself will decide whether it wants to be a part of it or not. So they are determined by the constituents of the index. Reflect the value of private rather than public investment. No, they will reflect the value of the overall investment which those hedge funds have made. Let it be private or let it be public. So B is the answer. So as long as you are clear about how we make an index, what are different types of strategies to weight the index, what are the uses of index, what are different types of indices, what you should be able to do questions like these.